Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Social Intercourse. I know we did Thanksgiving last week, and we are getting into the Christmas and holiday season and all the shopping that we're going to be doing. And we have with us a special guest, Christina Terry, and she's going to tell us about her market, but also we're going to talk about how she created her business and how she does it as, a mom, a wife, a business owner, and helping other people along the way. So, welcome, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Hi, Christina.
Of course.
I know.
Okay,
So,
nice to see you again.
Christina,
Yes.
you want to tell us first about just who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
Sure. So, I know Rachel because I own the largest art market in Texas, Vibe Artisan Markets. And Rachel is one of our favorite chefs. So thank you for, again, inviting me on and having us here. Vibe Artisan Markets actually started only 3 years ago. Very humble roots in the middle of the pandemic. I know you've probably heard that a lot. Tons and tons of small businesses started during that time. We really consider it a renegade period when it comes to creative businesses, anything from handmade to handcrafted goods, leather, blown glass, ceramics. Everyone really got into their creative world after the world kind of stopped turning. Corporate was shutting people down, firing people, and they really had to lean into their hobbies to make ends meet. So we provided a showcase that was a warm, inviting showcase for them to have those in-person connections with their consumers in a world and a time that was so cold and closed off because of the pandemic.
Right. And what made you want to start all this during the pandemic?
So this is a little bit of a backstory, but when I had my firstborn about 6.5 years ago, we are a low medicated family. So I wanted to find a healthy alternative to keep my immune system strong because, as everyone knows, pregnancy completely depletes your immune system. And I happened upon elderberry as a source of immune support. And so I actually started making my own elderberry syrup, my own loose leaf tea, and things that would support me during that time. And I started selling it to family and friends, and it really exploded. And so after that caught fire, and I did that business for a really long time, probably about a year. I say a long time because it just seemed like forever. But it was in that time when the pandemic hit, and people that would purchase elderberry from me stopped during a time that they needed it so badly. And so I started reaching out and asking why. And it was because they were getting laid off of their jobs and they didn't have an extra financial means to get anything for their health outside of what they could get covered under their insurance. So we started bartering. I was like, well, do you have anything you're hiding, some vintage glassware? I'll trade you for that. Everyone's got a china cabinet full of vintage glassware that they never use. And I love it. I collect it. So we started bartering things, and I found out that my community of consumers for my elderberry and my tea were very creative people. And so we had a lady that made ceramics out of her garage. She actually lives right down the street from me. And so she was trading me handmade ceramics. And then there were woodworkers that were coming out. There was a lady that blew glass, really beautiful sculptures and functional art. And so we just started trading. And in that moment, I realized how incredibly talented just my small community of Kingwood, Texas was. And I actually did an open house during the pandemic in my house. It was
gutsy,
not
gutsy.
They were not happy, but I opened all the windows in my house. My doors were open. We had about 5 exhibitors spaced out in my house, and everyone sold out. So we had all the moms of Kingwood come to support them. And I just got so many recommendations after that to start a market. And so that's what happened. And here we are 3 years later, all over Texas, Austin, Houston, and Dallas.
Well, not Christina. Just Texas.
We're going to expand nationally next year.
Yeah. Sorry,
Do you have
Randy,
an
you had a
online
question?
presence or is it just, oh, I'm sorry, I just jumped in. Is there any online part of the store? Or is it only physical markets or?
We do have an artisan collective on our website. So if you're not able to physically make it to one of our events, you can go on there and see. It's just a very small selection of artisans we have on there, but it's growing weekly. We're adding new people on there. So it just kind of direct connects you to their social platforms and their websites so you can shop remotely from wherever you are in the world.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, Randy, you had a question?
Yeah, Christina, you used a phrase that I'm not familiar with, and I just wanted to circle back. You said functional art.
Yeah.
And that piqued my interest. Can you tell me what that is?
So functional art, I'm like actually trying to see if I have anything at my desk right now. I don't, but it's art that you can use in your daily life. So functional art, meaning glass blowing, different kinds of fiber arts, ceramics. So a mug that's made by one of our artists. So it really is a true piece of art that you almost don't want to use daily because it's so pretty. I have glassware that my husband's like, please don't make me wash this. I am freaking out that I'm going to destroy it. So it's that. It's very high end and it's nice and it makes you feel really fancy when you're using it. It's functional art.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. It's always a fun thing to explain to people because they don't understand that. They're like, art functional, like paintings. How do you make that functional? You can actually too, but yeah.
Well, efficiency is one of my love languages. And so I wanted to just have you expand on that because that spoke to me, that phrase.
I love that.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of functional art now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I'm bought by other, whenever I'm at markets, I'm always picking up other vendors.
Functional art, it's just a piece of art that you can use every single day. I love it.
And I bet that necklace you're wearing is probably from
an
earrings.
So these earrings and this necklace are Poppy Collective Co. She is from Austin. She lives in Georgetown. She actually became a really fast friend of mine. She's been doing our markets for the last 3 years. And
that vendor sounds very familiar to me.
Yeah, her name's Miley. And so her husband actually started I'm going to totally butcher this word, lapidary. It's where he cuts his own stones. So husband cuts his stones, wife makes I'm actually going to have to look that up later now too. I think it's lapidary. Don't quote me on that. That might be.
I have never in my life heard that word.
It sounds right. Whatever. So yeah, he cuts the stones and she makes the jewelry and they have the cutest 2 little kids. And it's a really cute family business. And that's what most of the artists are under our company. It's a family owned business or it's a single artist just trying to make it in this world. Like that's just the whole goal here is to deplete the stigma of the starving artist. We just want that to be gone.
Yeah, it's lapidary, and a person who does it is lapidaris.
I was close.
Lapidaris?
You're close. Yeah. You're so close.
Yeah.
I would never even get close to that.
I never even heard of that, so I learned something new today.
We're all learning something new today.
There's a lot to
everyone listening.
We're all learning.
Lapidary.
It again. Lapidary.
Lapidary and lapidarius. Not sure.
Okay. So Christina, it sounds like you're really trying to lift up artists from a grassroots level, which is really cool.
Yeah. So my background and my degree is in marketing. And I used to work corporate oil and gas. I did marketing for Remax. And all the while it was good. It was nice working for big companies, but it was never really fulfilling. I always felt like obviously you're working for someone else. You're not working for your own dreams, which is a huge difference, obviously. But it was just the kind of people. We're not my people. And I'm a little bit of a weirdo too. I mean, in high school, I started a juggling club to make friends. So that didn't really work.
How did that go?
It didn't work out, I'll tell you that. But, hey, the PE instructor joined in, so he thought I was cool. But I'm just a little bit of a weirdo. Like I'm an introverted extrovert. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it's a thing.
No,
it is because we're extroverted introverts. We're the
exactly.
Opposite.
I'm very creative, but I'm also very analytical. I have ADHD, yet I like to be left alone and don't want to talk to anyone. So I'm just a little bit of everything and never really found my crew. And working with artists, not a lot of people can handle the mentality of an artist. You have to be a bit of a chameleon, because every single one of them is different. They have different needs, and they want to showcase themselves in different ways. They all have different questions about how to run their booth, but they want to really just learn how to obviously get their products in the hands of consumers. They want their art on people's walls, and they want to make it affordable and attainable to the masses. And so when I was doing corporate oil and gas marketing, I was working for a lot of people who they didn't get me, and they didn't appreciate me. And I really didn't appreciate them either. So this is a completely different thing where it's like a whole family. Rachel knows this very well. We always do a family meeting before every single event where we talk about our energy and our intentions for the day, and really just like wipe the slate clean before they get out there and present themselves and their work to the consumers. And so it's a really cool place to finally feel like I belong somewhere. Everyone really has made me feel so special and so welcomed. And so I pour that right back into them. And it's just, amazing thing.
I'll tell you from the vendor standpoint, and I've told you this many times, because I'm part of many markets. Wait, I can never do these finger hearts. She makes fun of me because my finger hearts look funny. It's like, sidetrack. What's the new way of doing finger hearts or hand hearts?
I'm just doing this, y'all.
Oh,
my daughter did that the other day.
No, it's this way.
It's like this.
Oh, the double. The double.
No, I'm not even.
Mine look like a spider.
It's supposed to be this way. It's Gen Z's way, but I don't have fingers long enough. And
don't be doing any gang signs here. No, ma'am.
Mine looks like a uterus, not a heart.
Cheek one. You're supposed to do it on your cheek, like
But as I was saying, a lot of markets, and they say that they care about their vendors, but they don't actually care about their vendors, and they don't support their vendors in the same way that Vibe does. And from the beginning, I've always said, Christina, you actually care, and you have like so many vendors to take care of.
I do,
like the most, and you still check in with everybody, and you're always giving a smile, and people feel like you care. And
it's a lot, and that's a lot of work to do that extra stuff, but it's so meaningful because this is not just to make money. And a lot of market hosts, they do that just to make money. And don't get me wrong, I'm a single income. I actually made my husband quit his job 2 years ago so he can be a stay-at-home dad, and I can really dive into this world of markets and make something really, really meaningful in this world. And it was, I guess, just a time where we had to let go of some financial stuff and really start budgeting to make this work. And it's really not about the money for me. I will actually tell an artist if I don't think that the event is right for them, if I don't think the demographic is going to be correct, I'll tell them, don't do this one, but maybe do this one. And they're like, you don't want my money? And I was like, no, I don't want your money if you're not going to make enough. And so I'll actually turn people away, which is not, my husband's like, please don't do that. Like, we could use the money. And I'm like, no, it'll come back. But I'm a empath too. So like, I feel a lot of energy from people. I know it's kind of weird to some people if they don't believe in that, but I do. And so when I walk into a market, I want to absorb all the negative energy I possibly can. And so those family meetings that I do for us every single morning of an event, it really is to grab all that anxiety, frustration, or stress from everyone around me, soak it in, because I'm going to turn that around and give everyone hugs throughout the day and just pass back some good energies, just kind of like recycling it, right? Like cleansing that and getting it out. Because people, artists especially, they get in their own headspace of sometimes not feeling worthy. And so they'll be setting up and they'll be like, oh, my booth just doesn't look right. Why am I even here? Nobody's gonna like my art. And they're like, woo, downward spiral. And so I just want to take that away from them, swipe it away, and refill them with something good and better. I
know, but how tiring for you at the end of the day, because you took all that in. So you go home, you're just like,
I'm drained. My kids know it too. Like my 6-year-old, he'll come up to me and he'll know too. He's just like me. He's like, just like his mama. But he'll come up to me and I won't say anything. And I'll be like, hi, buddy. Like just trying to be like, yeah. And he'll come up and he'll just give me a really soft, warm hug. And I said, well, how did you know I needed that? He goes, Mom, I just know. And he's freaking 6. And I'm like,
he's an empath too.
Yeah, he totally is. And so I think that it's not just financial support that these artists need. It really is the support of everyone just surrounding them with the love of their work and making them feel worthy and appreciated and respected. And you're right. There are a lot of market hosts that will say, oh, we're an all-inclusive market, yet they exclude a lot of people. Or, oh, we're just full of amazing patrons that come through. We do all the marketing, and then there's just no one that comes through.
There's nothing.
And there's no marketing. There's not even a graphic made for it. So yes, we go above and beyond. And it really is because my husband has given me that opportunity and that time so he can raise our children and I can really focus on this. It's a passion project for sure. And it's going to last us the rest of our lives.
And that's what I love to say. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. If you have something riveting.
It's nothing riveting. I was just going to say, it's
mine isn't
amazing that she has her husband who can take that step back and say, okay, you do your thing. This is what you want to do.
That is such a rare thing in these days. I mean, there are, no offense, but men like to be the man. And I'm just very thankful that I have one that supports me and is a stay-at-home dad. He cleans the house. He does the laundry. He cleans poop diapers. Like he does all of it. And
check.
Little complaint. I mean, we've been together. We'll have our 10-year wedding anniversary next year. But we just work so well together too. Because again, like I'm a creative mind. I'm a little chaotic with my thought processes, and he's very analytical and streamlined and business and all this kind of stuff. So he's actually my CFO as well, because I don't handle attorneys, money, CPA. I don't need that.
It's a great partnership. Like just you get to do your thing, and
it's a lot of fun. We put the kids down for naps. We come into our office, and I mean, I'm in my office all day, so it's always a joy when he walks in with our cold brew coffees for a couple hours. We listen to music and we just do work together, and it's really wonderful. Not many people can say they enjoy working with their spouse.
Yeah.
I do. I love it.
It's just the two of you right now they're running the business.
It's just
us.
us.
Or you have a staff. Oh wow,
it is
so much work.
It is just us, and it's I think we have almost 3,000 artists underneath of our company now. I'll hire a couple of one of my kids' sitters. I'll hire her on to help me like day of, or maybe like an artist's daughter. We have one of those in Dallas. She's amazing. Her name's Tatiana. It's hi honey. It's an artist.
Tatiana.
Yeah. Hi Tatiana, I love you. But she's amazing. And so she just is an extension of me. Because again, I do run my business a different way. So finding someone to give that same like love and passion and respect towards the artist is very hard for me to like give that to, if you understand. Sure. I just don't want them to not feel like it's authentic anymore. You know what I mean? So I'll just continue to be there. I will not ever miss one of my markets ever.
You know, speaking of authentically supporting artists, and putting your art out there in the world is a hard thing. You kind of have to have a thick skin because people tend to feel like they are their art. And so it comes from such a deep place. It's not like corporate work where you're doing your job, and if somebody doesn't like your idea, it's like, oh, well, like art is just very deeply felt. And so I could see where they would need some extra emotional support if, you know, their pieces didn't sell well, or I could see where that would just be harder kind of to support.
It is. And, you know, when you think about that too, a lot of artists are introverts. And so getting out there and having like those in-person interactions is very intimidating for them. So we want to make sure that it's just the easiest possible transition. Like, yes, you can totally sell online. You can sell on your social medias. That's great. In person is so much more important. You get to tell your story. You get to, you know, really have that that more like a bond. You're like creating a bond with your consumer. They'll always remember you when you see those pieces in their house and they're thinking, oh God, I remember that artist story. It was so touching and so moving. It's just a really lovely thing to be able to help them get out of their skin, be a little bit extroverted, but then not push them too hard. It's a delicate balance, really.
I mean, not just supporting them, so the business too. And we talk about supportive husband. And you have, I forget, was it 3 children? 4 children?
2, 4, and a 6-year-old. You may have actually just heard the 2-year-old screaming his head off.
So 3 children, right?
Yes.
And then I see this extensive background, your calendar to keep everything in line.
Yes.
Wow.
And so really trying to be a successful businesswoman this day and age,
Yeah.
like, and helping others creating success. I think it's great what you're doing, but gosh, like, I don't know if even with the support of I'd be like, I don't know, this is so much work.
It's a lot, but
you're
like I
doing
said, it's an ADHD brain, I guess. I'm always running. I'm always chaotic. I like a lot of things. If I don't have like 5 things lined up on my schedule, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. So I love it crazy. And right now I'm actually still being able to volunteer at my son's school in the library and do things like that. So there's my 2-year-old right there at the door.
It's like,
He's like, let me in.
He's like,
I'm
let
the
me in.
opposite.
Yeah, so
Let me out.
it's balancing that time and like giving enough time to them. Also giving enough time to my husband and my family, and then, running this business as well. We've actually had to pare down on the amount of events that we did. So the very first year was a kickoff year. So we did like very sporadic stuff until he quit his job. And then we went hardcore, friends. Like we did 56 market days in 1 year. And I almost wore myself out. And we had to take that step back and be like, okay, listen, let's not do that again, please, because we're going to exhaust ourselves and it's not going to be fun anymore. So we pared back to 36 this year, which is still a lot, but it's made it so I could still somewhat balance my personal and business life.
That reminds me of something I read. You can do all the things, but you can't do all the things every single day. And so you got to kind of pick and choose. And I know in my experience, when I'm busy and I have a lot of irons in the fire, it's a lot easier when you can set your own schedule and you're kind of in charge, as opposed to working a corporate job where they kind of dictate your schedule. So that probably helps a little.
Yeah, exactly. So I can wake up at, 4:35 in the morning and do a lot of work before the kids wake up, be able to have breakfast with them, send them off to school, get back in the office until pickup time. I always go get my son from school as much as I possibly can too. So yeah, making my own schedule. I love that, but a lot of people will get the wrong idea about working for yourself. They're like, oh, that must be so nice. You get to make your own schedule. Oh, that's really great. Yeah, no, I work 24/7. There is no going home from work. There's no leaving work behind. I am always on my phone. So much so that my son calls me out for it now. We were at the Christmas tree farm and the Houston Chronicle News called me while I was there. So I had to do an impromptu photo shoot in the middle of a Christmas tree farm trying to cut down a tree with my kids. But it is 24/7. You never get to leave it. And so trying to just find those little small pieces where you can leave it for a second and really indulge in your family or your home life, or even just take your dog for a walk. That really helps with the balancing of it. It's never going to be perfect. I don't think we'll ever get it streamlined, but we just continue to do what we do. And right now it's working.
Yeah, no, I was like, wait, I worked so much before. A lot of overtime, on call all the time. And I was like, if I'm going to be working this much, I'll just start my own business.
That's true.
Right.
And then
You resent it less when you're the boss than when you're, working that much for somebody else. Yeah.
Well,
You end up working more
Yeah.
when you
and
have
so
your
you
own
end
business.
up working more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing is like when you're in a corporate setting, you're told what to do. If there's an issue with software, you go and ask someone to do it for you or show you how to fix it. There's no one doing that. When you own your own business, you are social media, you are advertising, your PR, your website creator, your content creator, your product creator, your IT, you're literally everything that a corporate umbrella would be, but it's just you. And so you have to figure it out. It's on you. Everything is on you. So it's a lot harder owning a small business than it is working in the corporate world. And I'll say that with super amounts of confidence.
No, it
You
definitely.
know, I've done
Like,
I
yeah.
What formation was that?
That was the
wasn't
moment.
deep. What was that?
That was the moment. It was right there. That was it. Boom, bye.
My God.
Sorry.
Mouse
Brandy, you were
drop?
saying you
Yeah, right.
worked.
I have my little mic.
Sorry, go ahead.
Christina, I liked what you said about how you like working with the artists because of their approach and their kind of mindset. It's definitely a different group of people to kind of guide. I've done small business consulting for years and years and years, sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time. And I've purposely chosen to stay working with small businesses because I love working with entrepreneurs. I love their mindset and just their approach. It does come with challenges, as you mentioned.
Yes.
But you look at that as part of the charm of it. But yeah, there's just a passion there that you don't get, that tends to be missing frequently when you kind of get higher up into the medium to larger companies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the personalization of really, I guess, just feeling like a person too, and being recognized. And I said this once before in one of our family meetings. It's like you take an introvert and you're working at Starbucks. You have to be friendly. You have to be like, and what would you like today? Do you want a triple macchiato latte, whatever? And yeah. But they like inside they're dying. Like they don't want to have that conversation with you. They don't want to talk to you. And so you have to be what they want you to be. Or you're a CPA and you're like, just behind the desk working nonstop, paperwork. And they're like, please don't, just head down. But you're like, I want to talk to people. Like I need communication. Indulge me in something. You don't want to be locked away in a little box office and not communicated to and have any kind of social thing. So when you own your own business, you really get to let your personality shine too. You get to understand who you are again. And I know a couple of you, are you mothers? Who's a mom? Nobody?
None of us.
Not it.
Oh my God. Okay. So here's the thing. Okay. So when you become a mother, you lose your identity. You literally just become mom. And so you're like, well, who the hell even is Christina? Oh, excuse my language. But who the heck even is Christina? And you lose who that person was. But it's kind of a reset. And so after that, after getting out of corporate world and being told exactly who to be and how to act, and like, this is who you are and this is your personality now, I really got to know who I am. And I'm quirky and I'm weird and I'm fun and I'm outgoing and I don't care what anyone thinks about me. And I'm a helper, and I get to really just show and be who I authentically am. And when you are your authentic self, you really feel like you're actually living your life. Like it's supposed to be lived. I can wear whatever the heck I want. I mean, it's just so fun. It's fun to just be you and not have to be under this stark corporate world of like, you have to be who they say you have to be. Oof, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's why I got out. Well, it was never actually corporate. I could never do corporate. I could never fit in.
I
to
did
the
it.
corporate.
Oh, it was awful.
I couldn't do it.
Hated it.
But speaking of like us not being mother, I love that, like how nowadays women, because I have friends who do have children, they want to start businesses, but they're kind of scared to, because they say they feel like then they have to let go of things as being either mom or wife, and I'm like, I don't think that's true nowadays. And I
No.
look at you, and yeah, you wake up super early to have
I'm a natural early bird anyway, so that was not even a thing for me.
but you find the little moments to
Yeah.
spend with your kids and with your husband. And I think, like, women, don't be scared. Go for what you want to do. If you have a little inkling, a dream, or something that you want to do, go for it until you're meant to back you up. So,
Well, there's all this time throughout the day that we spend scrolling on Instagram or watching your favorite Netflix shows while the kids are napping, or whatever. This is a moment for yourself, though, too. When you dive into your creative passions, and not even if you make a full business out of it, if it's just a hobby or if it's something that you enjoy, if you enjoy painting, take some time for yourself, because if your cup is not full, there's no way you're going to be your full, complete self for your kids either, right? Because when you're not taking care of your own self, how can you take care of others? And I feel that very heavily with my kids too. Yes, they need my undivided attention most of the time, but I integrate them into the things that I do. So my office, I have a whole shelf over here. It's full of toys. So they're able to be in here playing around me. Their little desk is over here that they do homeschooling every couple of days. So there's just things that you can do as a mother to integrate your children into your business, or just take the moments that you kind of take for granted doing, the mindless scrolling. We all do that. But just take that for yourself instead.
Well, plus I think like as a mom, when my mom, you see that you set that example for your kids too, right? So they see you working on something that you love, and they see, what hard work does, and what, the joy comes from having your own business and doing your own, and they see that as an example. And like, you don't necessarily have to be a helicopter parent to be a good parent.
No.
You can have that sort of, because my parents always worked, and like, so I kind of grew up learning the value of seeing my mom have a job. That was cool, because back then that wasn't always the case. And so there's that aspect of it too. So if you're afraid of that, you're also teaching your kids a lesson at the same time, and how to go for their passions and how to work for what they want. And,
you're empowering your children by showing them that you can be successful or just creative. Kids are creative beings anyways. So if you're in the process of making candles for a business or soaps for a business, integrate them into it. They'll love it. And I mean, my son, we went to Arkansas earlier this year, and we hand dug for 2 solid weeks, over 300 pounds of quartz crystals. So we brought them all back, and now he sells them at my markets, and he's so stinking cute. And he's like, Mom, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make my own business. And so it's called Mind My Own Business, MIND.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love it.
I love
crystals, because he minded. Oh my God. I was like, this is amazing. But it's just, you're showing them like, this is not, you don't have to follow this streamline of events. We were kind of taught, you have to go to school, you have to go to college, you have to pay off debt, you have to get a full-time job, you retire, and then you die. And I'm like, ugh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo, yay.
So much fun.
Like, there's actually there's a poem. It's called The Rat Race. And I read this to our exhibitors once. And it is literally, I don't know if it's a haiku or what kind of type of poem, but it just says, go to school, pay off debt, work till 55, retire, die. And I'm like, ew, that's yucky. I don't like
Cheery.
And it's like, if you think about it too, and it's getting into that headspace of like, holy crap, I can live the life that I actually want to live. Like, I don't have to be stuck in a windowless office for the rest of my life. It's a scary step to take too, but when you actually flip that switch in your head and you're like, whoa, I really do have only one life to live. Like, I'm 34. I just turned 34. I was like, wait, am I 34? Yeah, I'm 34.
We forget after a certain age.
Your brain. So there's that. But when you understand, like, you really only have one life to live. I'm a third of the way through mine. I don't want to live a life where I don't see my kids. I don't see my family. I'm not in my own house that I freaking paid for. And enjoying the small moments of life that I have left. Like, what am I even doing? So when you make that mental and soulful switch, it's crazy what you can actually do. And yeah, it's freaking scary, especially the financial aspect of it. You're like, holy crap, how am I going to afford the things that I have in my house, my rent, my mortgage, my electrical bills, my groceries. But when you actually sit there and you budget and you think about the extra things that you're spending on or whatever, you can really pare back and then just live a really good, wholesome life and live the life that you want. It's crazy. Just that switch just needs to happen.
Yeah. It's interesting, Vicky, when you talked about your parents, I completely forgot. My dad kind of raised us with my grandma. My mom had the business.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching her be a businesswoman. And my dad, before he got his business, he picked us up from school. He took us out on outings to keep us, occupied and make us tired so we go to sleep at night.
Yep.
And a lot of times after school or on the weekends, we'd also go to my mom's store. She had a clothing store, and we would just hang out and be at the store and watch her work, do our homework. Yeah, and we wore a lot of the clothes. She had a clothing store, and I was like, "Oh, I get free." She's like, "Your advertisement. You guys are free." Yeah, so I felt like
child
special.
labor.
Like, oh, I'm a model. Yeah, child labor. But that made me confident as I grew up. Like, I can do whatever I want to do. My parents have always backed me up and supported me. Sure, did they want all their kids to be doctors and lawyers? And but
I love your parents. They're so sweet.
They got two. It's fine.
They support me. They've got 2 lawyers, yes. They got 2 out of 3.
And Rachel, you said that it's a super unusual in Korean households for the dad to be taking that role. Maybe more so now, but back then, I love that your dad did that and kind of challenged the status quo.
Yeah, that's really cool.
No, he was great. He was my hero growing up, and he took us to museums and all that stuff, and not just us. Next door to us was a Korean supermarket, and they were my god sisters. He took us all out. He took us everywhere.
I love that.
Like 6 kids, and we're like, yay.
That's so great. But see, it's like those special moments that you remember with your dad. And this is, Brad's opportunity, my husband, Brad, it's his opportunity to have that connection, that bond with his kids. So you, Rachel, I mean, those small little memories of going to the supermarket or being your mom's model in your store, that's so meaningful and so cute that you remember that.
Right. And I don't feel like I missed out on time with my mom. She was always still there, and I still had a lot of time with her. So, I mean, we might have fought between siblings for her attention, but we still,
That's healthy.
It's healthy. So I completely forget to tell that to my friends who are afraid to start businesses or go back to work even because they think they have to give up on being a mom. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't.
The amount of children that I see at our markets too, there's we lost.
Something
popped out. It's fine. It happens all the time.
She had to go. She was done with the conversation. So there she is.
My computer cord drug across my mouse pad at the exact right to take me out of the picture.
She got enough of the information. She was out. She was done for the day. She asked her questions and that's it. But the amount of kids you see at the booths at the markets is astonishing. And people always ask me, the artists, they're like, "Are you sure I can bring my kid?" And they're like, so scared to do. I'm like, yes, of course. Like, this is a family-friendly event, first of all. We always welcome kids and dogs to most of them too.
And dogs. I've seen dogs, yeah.
Because fluffy.
Those are my kids.
Yeah, duh. I mean, I have a dog kiddo too. And so we just want to make it as friendly as possible. And yes, having your kids there, first of all, it helps you sell stuff. Their cute little faces saying, "Do you want to see my mommy's art?" And they're like, "Oh my God, let me see your mom's art."
Say no.
And so, kids will actually help you sell your pieces in your booth too. So there's a lot of worry about, gender roles too in the household. And is the wife actually supposed to work? And it's a lot of old school type of thinking. And when you can break that cycle, I always thought that too, right? And then I started this small side business because, again, I can't not be busy. And I'm like, well, here we go. So whether or not you want me to work, I'm doing it. That's kind of just my headstrong personality anyways. I'm so sorry to my husband. we've lasted 13 years, so he apparently likes that. But it's an interesting thing when I start to see all the little switches start flipping and the husbands are quitting their jobs to like fully support the family and their wives. And it's just incredible. And they're stepping up and they're just amazing humans. So we can have our time to shine too. In a world that's very male dominated, that's a really powerful thing to have a man support his woman like that.
I love your husband. He's so on point. Yeah. So
and frequently
your voice.
Frequently, I think like when men, it doesn't have to be that way forever. He may not choose to stay home with the kids forever. It may. I love the idea of being able to kind of switch off. Like right now, it's your time to shine and do your thing. But in a few years, he may come across a wonderful opportunity, and you might flip-flop roles.
And we've already talked about that too. I'm a planner by nature, y'all. I mean, do you see my 7-foot calendar? So we've already talked about that too. When the kids go to public school full time, all 3 of them, I mean, I'm not going to have a lot of work for him to do. By that time, we're going to be so streamlined that I can run it by myself or with an assistant. And so he can go back to doing chemist jobs, which actually there's a lot of breweries out there that need chemists. And I was like, how fun would that be to not be in a windowless lab and doing things with harsh chemicals? You can actually be making beer.
Right. So there's all the beer, please.
Yeah. Hello. Free beer for life. And you get to like fun chemistry and still be there to pick up your kids after school, And so he really actually loves this lifestyle. And we do know that there's going to be a point where it is so streamlined that I won't need him as much for like all the back office work and stuff, because I mean, you can't see his desk, but there's a lot of stuff on it. A lot of notes everywhere. Sorry.
Add a new one.
He keeps up with it so well. I'm a terrible boss, y'all. I can't. I'm so in my own headspace. I'm like, why don't you just read my mind? Like, you don't know what I want you to do. And he's like, you haven't said anything. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me explain this to you. I'm like,
I'm guilty of that. I do that all the time.
All the time. And I'm like, I don't mean to, but I'm like, well, you watched me a million times do that one thing, but I guess I never really taught you. You just can't read my mind. Let's do telepathy here. Come on. We've been together long enough. This should happen. But I'm like, oh yeah, wait, no, I'm a terrible boss. Like, do not hire me on to train anyone, but I can run a damn good market.
Yeah. And speaking about a damn good market, there is a damn good market coming up. Well,
sure is.
Because you have one in Houston coming up?
Yep.
Is it this weekend?
Yeah, we have the one in Houston this weekend. We have over 300 artisans there for the weekend. Free cocktails, an art gallery installation in partnership with Sawyer Yard. It's a big thing. This is probably our biggest market. And then Distribution Hall in Austin is our secondary. And then that's next weekend. And then or the following weekend. And then we have Dallas on the 16th and 17th. And then that's it for the year.
Yeah. So it's what, Post HTX?
Post HTX. Yeah. It's downtown there. It's a really cool spot, y'all. It's an old post office. So it's a post distribution center. And it's massive. It was Central Station for the longest time in the 1930s, turned into the largest Texas distribution for USPS in the 50s or 60s. And then, hi, Lucy.
Aggie. 3.
It's okay.
You're counting. But yeah, it's just a really cool space. A commercial realty place bought it. It's a big concert venue. It has 15 different restaurants in it. It has a sky lawn that has like its own farm and wedding venue. It's just this huge, massive rooftop. It's a really cool place to host an event. But Distribution Hall is really special to me. That's in East Austin. And it's owned by Austin. His name is Austin. It's really funny. Austin in Austin. It's an old German beer packaging plant. and big warehouse with like 4 connected areas. It's super cool. It's very industrial, concrete floors, all white walls. And so when we bring our artists in there, they just like explode their art all over the place, and it looks stunning.
Yeah, I love Distribution Hall.
Cool.
I'm going to be there as a vendor on the
Yay!
9th and 10th, everyone. Anyone in Austin, come on by. Anybody in Houston, even if you're not in Houston or Austin, come get your Christmas shopping done. So
we have a lot of people that
local.
travel. Yeah, so December 9th and 10th at Distribution Hall from 11 to 5 both days. There's some on-site parking garages for a total of $10 a day. So you can spend all day with us. There's going to be free cocktails from Deep Eddy Vodka, Dripping Springs Distribution. We have Levels of Grandeur doing cocktails. We'll have a DJ, an art gallery, and about 250 artists at Distribution Hall. Oh, and a food court, obviously, with the lovely Rachel,
I'll be there.
Chef Sabelli, and
Rogue,
Chevelli and
Derek.
Rogue ATX. We also have Open Eye Chai and Central Matcha is going to be there. So we'll have coffees and teas and foods. It's like an all-day hangout thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's someone, each time I'm at Distribution Hall with you, there's somebody that always brings my mom cocktails. I was like, she can't get drunk till later. My mom will help me at these markets. I was like, bring her cocktails later. I need her functioning.
Please, after 4. I know they're small cocktails, but they're strong ones. So I'll tell you that.
Deep Eddy makes them strong. Good.
Yeah, they do. I was like, y'all, this is the sample size.
So, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your story, sharing artist stories, and just being you. And if you start that juggling club again, I'm in.
No. Stop it. No.
I want to do it.
I can juggle 2 things. That's not really very good.
That's pretty much all I can do too.
I'm good at juggling my life, not so much the active like circus juggling.
Fair.
But yeah, just definitely come out, have a fun time. It really is. That's why we call it vibe. It is. And you hear so many people walk in, they're like, wow, this is a vibe. And that's where I got the name from, was all of the consumers that come through, the patrons. And I'm like, yep, we're going to change the name to that. And we did. So come on out, have fun, spend the day, drink some drinks, eat some food, and support some of the most deserving, influential artists you'll ever meet.
Thank you so much. And everyone listening, watching, send us some comments. Let us know what you guys think about everything we've talked about. And share, like, subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.